So this is the results of our People's poll, and this is the thing that struck us most this morning, is 57% of British adults have no confidence at all that the government can get a grip on the small boats crisis. Is that something to do with the 46,000 people who made their way over the Channel last year?
Yeah, I think it's got to be. I mean, how long has the government been talking about this? I think this has been a major issue for, 4 or 5 years now? And the numbers just keep going up and up and up and never getting any smaller. So last year, the government brought in the Nationality and Borders Act, saying this was going to stop the demand for boats and stop the people smuggling. But, of course, it hasn't worked. So, to be honest, this is no surprise at all. The government can't get a grip on this. It's the third top issue for all voters and the second top issue for Conservative voters. And if they don't get a grip of it, they're going to lose the next election. There's no doubt about that. The question is, can they? Because, of course, as I said, previous legislation hasn't worked. And, of course, they're also very reliant on the French authorities as well.
Yeah, and Suzanne, of the 5 pledges Rishi made this week, he clearly said, I will stop the boats. There's no ambiguity in that. So one boat is one boat too many. But in our People's poll, only 4% completely or even fairly believe that Rishi can do that. Do you think he's got a hope in hell of stopping the boats?
I wonder if Rishi thinks he can do it. I mean, it is impossible. It's quite interesting, his speech yesterday. You know, the top 3 priorities, to cut the debt for growth and to halve inflation, are going to happen anyway, and they're really not in his remit. They're the job of the Bank of England, in a sense, or at least inflation is. But this is something that he has, as I say, got to get a grip on. But there is no clear idea from government, I don't think, as to how exactly they're going to do it.
Yeah. Well, there are he talked about new laws, and this is something for my sins, I know quite a lot about. No doubt so do you, former UKIP chair. So there are national emergency laws. There are United Nations laws which could be put in place to declare a security risk to the UK, which would allow us to return boats to France, which I think is what the voters want.
Yep.
Do you think Rishi has got the stomach to go nuclear, as it were, and actually deliver on that, or will he just kind of play around at the edges and is it just more Priti Patel-style endless hot air? Yeah,
I think Suella Braverman has probably got the guts to actually go with it and try and do something about it. But is she going to get the support for the Prime Minister? One would hope so, because he has drawn a red line in the sand. He's made it one of his top 5 priorities. So that is at least encouraging. But, of course, he's going to be having to do battles with the ECHR. Yep. He's going to be having to do battles with the House of Lords. He's going to have to be doing battles with the opposition benches. He's going to be having to do battles with some of his own members of Parliament.
And the lawyers, the charities.
The charities, the pressure groups. Exactly. He has got a mountain to climb. And there's a part of me that perhaps cynically thinks, is it going to be OK for him to make this promise? Because he's only got about 18 months before the next election. Yeah. He hasn't really got time to do it. So win or lose, the way they are in the polls at the moment, he can say what he likes and has got to say everything. But actually, there might not be enough time for him to be able to achieve this goal.